Alright guys, welcome to today's vlog training video. We're gonna dive into a couple different things, but first we've gotta make our pre-workout stack, alright? It's really important because I drove like an hour to be here, which isn't far. It's not far, but I'm exhausted for no reason whatsoever. Ciara, what time did you go to bed last night?
Like 11.
11?
Yeah.
Ask me what time I went to bed last night.
Probably like 2.
2? Yeah. Problem is you create this like really shitty cycle, right? Where it's like, you wake up kind of late because you're tired. Or you had, like I was traveling last week, right? So I was in Columbus for 2 weddings. It sets me back. So I sleep in the next day, but then I'm up late because I feel like I'm missing out on stuff that you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So, and then it just creates this shitty cycle. So that's why we have NutriBio's pre-workout with like 350 milligrams of caffeine in it and tons of hydration formula salts. Always put the water in first. I know people who just put the powder in. That's a beta move. Don't ever do that. We got 1 keeping scoop. Boom. I really do not take a lot of supplements. I like to keep everything as simple and as basic as possible. I also don't like to be in a position where I feel like I'm depending on a supplement, or in the back of my mind subconsciously I feel like, oh, if I don't take my creatine, I'm not gonna be as strong. Like, that's just not me, that's not how I roll. However, I know that the pre-workout works. It's been proven to work, and creatine is proven to work as well. So I take CGT Max. It's kind of like their ultimate creatine formula.
Smells good.
Bro, it smells amazing. And you know what's crazy? It tastes even better. I wish you guys could taste it through the camera, but you can't. I guess you'll just have to buy it. I don't know. Code Gavin at checkout. Are you from the Bronx?
No, I'm from Connecticut. Well, I was born in the Bronx, but I'm from Connecticut.
Wait, but how old were you when you moved to Connecticut?
Like 2. So it doesn't count.
Damn, dude. Oh, see, I was born in the Bronx, and then I moved out of the Bronx for high school. Because the high school I was zoned for, I probably would have got my shit jumped every single fucking day. Listen, 100%. Metal detectors, bars on the windows, the whole 9. Like, my parents were like, yeah, you know what? You're a little white boy, that ain't happening. You know what I mean? Superhero season, baby. Like, yo, you did not even lift off the floor, bro.
It was like a bunny hop. You're like,
what's your vertical? Like, so the reason why we switched out the benches, first and foremost, I compete in powerlifting. I'm a world champion powerlifter. I have to lift to a specific standard. It helps if I have equipment that meets that standard as well, right? So I'll show you. I will never compete on an Arsenal bench. It's never gonna happen. They're not in competition, they're not IPF approved. All right, so that's number 1. So that bench, that style, that build, I'll never even get to use in competition. That's number 1. Number 2, if you see how thick this is, right? This is a very thick pad, and it's kind of soft, right? I can sink into it. This could affect how I bench press, for better or for worse. This pad is much more similar to what I would use in the competition. It's thinner, it's much harder, and it's much more, for lack of a better term, basic, all right? This is very close to what I would use in competition. It's not exactly what I would use, but it's very close. This is very far from what I would use in competition. So, because I have the choice, I'm gonna opt for the bench that's closer to what I would use in competition. So that's why I decided to switch it out. It's just worth it to do that. Also too, I think my boy Zach was telling me, the Arsenal bench is slightly higher than this Rogue one. That makes a massive difference, especially for someone like me. Like, I'm a little bit shorter. Don't tell anybody I'm 6'2" in Tim's, but anyway, because I'm a little bit shorter, that shit matters, right? It's like, I can feel that. Like, my heels would be off the floor, and that's just not, we can't be, no.
I roll out with no cash on me, calm now with no mash on me. Stay away from these ashy youths, for they come around and get ash on me. That's 5,000 capacity, 5,000 capacity. Then spread that over the UK and then add it up and get back to me. You pussios are not bad for me. Madman, they go mad for me. Who the fuck went and gassed you up like you're good enough to be clashing me? Oh, please stop harassing me. Charge me up and put gas in me. Them little fish wanna try ting. Oh man, the audacity. I got girl in my inbox telling me eyes, living on the edge to the end of our lives. Wolf in the sheepskin telling me lies. Sometimes I love when my enemy dies. So ahead of my time, mainstream boy starts letting off lie. We can never ever level in price. Take that fee and then treble it twice. Yeah, the problem's back, I got flows. Watch your back, I'm on smoke. Dodge the paps and do.
My fucking back hurts so bad. Yeah, I've been dealing with some lower back pain for a minute now. I injured it like 6 weeks ago, 4 to 6 weeks ago. Probably the worst injury I've had since high school, honestly. I injured my back squatting. 20 weeks ago, I signed up with some new coaches. So far, we've been really strong together. The problem though is their approach is very different than what I'm used to. So when we started out, I was squatting 3 times a week. Way too much for me. I'm a very strong squatter. And because of just how I'm built and how much muscle I have on my frame, given my height, my body's just not able to recover as fast. So for me to squat heavy 3 times a week with tons of volume just wasn't it. I was experiencing tons of back pain. Long story short, about 12 weeks in, I fucked up my back bad enough to not be able to squat or deadlift. Took a break from that for like 4 or 5 weeks. And then we hopped back into it, I think probably about 4 or 6 weeks ago. Slowly incorporating things, but it has flared up again. And I even feel it when I'm benching right now.
How's the pain? 1 to 10.
Bro, honestly, so like, I don't feel it right now. Sometimes when I walk, I feel it. If I were to pick up my leg, I feel it. It's probably like a 4. If I were to rotate, I feel it's like a 9. Whenever I compress my spine and then decompress it, I feel it 100%.
Yeah.
Like just that disc compression and then also just relaxing that. So like if I were to brace and put on a belt and like breathe into my belt, I would feel the pain. And then if I were to relax and exhale, the pain would light up. So that's the first way. The second way is just acute signals, right? So like if I'm just like picking something up or pulling weight off the rack or something like that, just that those little movements have this acute sharp pain. It's bad. It's been really bad. Zach just competed at Junior Worlds in Turkey, which I commentated at. The venue was fucking horrible. Location was horrible. Nothing against Turkey, they just put us in the middle of nowhere. But despite that, how'd you do?
Second place. I was like 7.5 kg off from first.
Now, are you about to enter the Open?
No, I have 1 more year left of juniors. Yeah, so next year will be my final year, then Opens.
Okay. Yeah, so my first Junior Worlds was my last year as a junior. I had won that in the 93s, but then I competed in the Open in South Africa this summer and I placed 4th. Don't like to talk about it. It's really painful, but we won't let it happen again. But are you, so yeah, so when's, no, because my nationals is in like,
You guys are in April, right?
late February, so I'm like 17 weeks out.
You're USBI.
Nah,
Are you doing PA?
That's hard. Yeah, bro, we can't. So this was my thought process, right? So for those of you who don't know, I don't know if you know the situation either. So USAPL left the IPF, right? At the time, that was the only American federation you could use to get to Worlds, right? They split. And so all the lifters who qualified for Worlds from America no longer had the opportunity to go. So the USVI Federation, which is technically an association with the US, it's just the Virgin Islands, they welcomed on some of the American athletes onto their team so they could compete. I was one of those athletes. So out of respect for them, and of course some other reasons, it just logistically made sense, I stayed with them for the following year to compete at this year's Open. And but then recently I decided to like move to PA because Powerlifting America is the new American federation, and that's where all the competition is, you know, for nationals. And like realistically, I feel like you'd agree too, like you're in this sport to be the best. Of course. Anytime something feels like you're running from competition or you're not challenging yourself, then what's the point, right? You know what I mean? So no shortcuts, 100%. So what's next for you?
PA Nationals. Which is
when
in
is
June.
that though?
June,
right?
Yeah, it's in Phoenix, or it's in
Arizona.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I wish. I haven't been to Arizona yet.
Yeah, I've never been either, so yeah.
I think Austin's good. Like that's where our nationals will be, and that's where it was. Yeah, it's Central Time. You're only missing an hour, and like I've been to Texas enough where it's whatever. Like it's fine. You know what I mean? Like in Austin too, there's plenty of places to train. It'll probably be the same thing in Arizona. That's the biggest thing. When you travel for meets is finding good places to train, good places to eat. Make sure that if you need it, you have a sauna to water cut. That's pretty much it. And when you travel internationally, as now Zach knows,
that's the one thing
not
that
like
me. I did not prepare enough with food. Like I should have brought a whole suitcase full of food. That's what Alex did in Carolyn, right?
Yeah.
Like I ran out of food probably like midway through the week. And I was like,
which is fucked. And honestly, so like sometimes you get fucked because obviously you can't just bring anything and everything into a country. Because otherwise you gotta like meal prep your food and you're gonna have a whole suitcase just of your
chicken and rice or whatever I'm eating at that time. Look at his shirt.
I actually have that shirt. That's one of my favorite shirts to train in. Gavin.
Oh, Gavin.
Oh my God, look at his chain, dude. Yo.
Oh God.
Taller, better version of me, bro. Look at that. That's crazy. Oh my God.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh my God. He looks like a little bodybuilder, but like, is he super shredded?
That's honestly actually.
It's kind of unfair, to be honest.
That'd be fire.
but life had to be a little bit bigger on stage.
Yeah, me too. I think I might just be a little too shredded. I don't want to embarrass the competition.
Some energy gut, man.
That's exactly right. This is the power belly, the power go. You want to know key to a big bench? A fucking power belly. Finished with bench, onto accessories. Almost always I do some accessories after my main work. Sometimes when I'm closer to a meet, I'd have an SBD day, so squat, bench, and deadlift. I usually don't do any accessories that day. This is not one of those days. My back injury is like through the roof right now, so I have to be careful with my flexion intolerance and my load intolerance. So what that means is any real like rotation, any crazy amounts of flexion, crazy amounts of extension, I have to avoid so I don't aggravate it further. So doing a lot of dumbbell work probably is not ideal. Right now I'm using a chest supported row, kind of keep everything stable, keep everything stacked, allow me just to kind of protract, retract, engage the back the way I want to. That's it. I'm doing movements that are they're just a lot more controlled, right? Fixed lines of motion, fixed planes of motion, stuff that's going to allow me to execute the exercise without pain. This right here was a superset. I kind of wanted to target my upper back, my rear delt, and a little bit of my trap to pull in. Think of it as like a face pull, but I like to do one arm at a time. That way I can really just focus on that contraction. And I superset that with bicep curls. This is a very low intensity movement. This is not gonna destroy me. I can't even lift heavy with this if I wanted to, right? So it forces me to really focus more on control, contraction, and that allows me to accumulate a little bit more of, I don't want to say fatigue, but it's more of that long-term fatigue sustained over the course of the superset, as opposed to having that quick burst of high intensity training. All right, pretty much done. I try and keep it pretty simple when it comes to my accessories now. I care more about quality over quantity, with the sole exception of days I don't have real main barbell work, which is very rare. On those days, I can stack like 8 exercises. I can do like 4 supersets. But on days when I do a lot of barbell work, honestly, 3 to 4 sets, quality reps, good execution, really target the muscle, and challenge yourself with the weight. You really have to progressively challenge yourself. Doesn't have to be directly through the intensity, could also be due like literally just the frequency of how often you hit the muscle throughout the week, but more importantly, it could be how you change your reps to your sets, the exercise selection, all that stuff. In terms of what I plan on doing with my back, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I really have no idea. Like I'm reading Squat University's book right now. I'm also working with 2 PTs that are on my coaching team. I also plan on working with a PT in person, hopefully next week. So I'm doing some rehab work. It's honestly like the rehab stuff has never really worked well for me. It's literally just been about adjusting your programming and then making sure that you're sleeping well and you're healing well through exercise selection. So that's the plan, man. I mean, you just kind of take it day by day. Like I said, as of right now, I'm just avoiding movements that are extremely compressive on my spine, stuff that, again, just aggravates the injury. That's it, you know? It's just kind of like, again, taking it day by day, take it exercise by exercise, make sure you're still building, make sure you're still pushing yourself in every way that you can, pain-free. Then after a few weeks, after things heal up a little bit, I'll start reintroducing some of the movements that caused pain before. It's a slow process, man. It's a slow process, but I'm excited. We've got nationals coming up. We've got more videos like this rolling out. If you guys don't know, if you guys don't already follow me, definitely feel free to follow me on Instagram, TikTok. Instagram, I believe, is just Gavin_ADIN. TikTok is GA Training. Please feel free to reach out. Man, you and I are no different. Honestly, like, I just fucking lift, man. I just lift weights. I'm trying to be the best in the world at what I do, in everything I do, and help other people do the same. So that's it, baby. Burn your ships.